Hello Aries, welcome to my channel. Welcome to your September general tarot forecast reading. And thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you to those that have liked and subscribed to my channel so far, very much appreciate it. It's a generalised reading, so some of the messages may resonate with you, some of them may not. And those that do resonate with you, the first thing that comes to your mind is what it's telling you to focus on first of all, okay? Just excuse me for a few minutes, I'm going to channel them for your reading. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. I'll split the deck into three. Okay, so a card came out while I was shuffling, and we have the Moon card. So the Moon tends to talk about hidden things, hidden matters. It can be quite a fearful card sometimes, because a lot of the time we can't always see what's hidden. So this talks about things coming to light, things resurfacing, secrets being revealed, hidden truths, that kind of thing. When I do look at the Moon card, you know, this is someone who is kind of looking out and not necessarily seeing the things that are behind them. But at the same time, you know, this woman is naked in this card. She's naked, so it's almost like kind of there's nothing hidden with this person. You know, there's you know, it's all out in the open, and this is what the Moon kind of relates to. It's almost saying that I mean, vulnerabilities come into mind. You see, she almost feels quite free as well. She almost feels quite free with this card. She can't see the things that are behind them. Those, you know, the things that are chained, the things that are kind of creeping up and things like that. You know, she's looking outwards, and she seems quite free doing that. So I'll just pull your reading. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck we have the Ten of Cups, which is a beautiful, beautiful energy. So this is your overall energy for the month of September. Okay, so this is the Happy Home card. This is kind of being really settled, really content, really happy with one's situation when it comes to their emotional life. With the Ten of Cups, you know, this is kind of reaching emotional abundance, you know, emotional satisfaction. Like I say, it does relate to the Happy Home card, so this is just being very content with where one is at the minute, and this is your overall energy for the month of September. So it's a beautiful energy to have. In recent past, you do have the Fool card, so this tells me that you've kind of set out on something new, and you've progressed forward with something. You've kind of took an initiative with something and moved forward. Although the Fool in this, the way he is looking back at the past, okay, so this is in the position of the recent past, but the Fool is actually is looking back. He's looking back. So this could be thinking that, you know, does one want to be going back where they came from? But the Fool doesn't do that. The Fool doesn't think about moving back. You know, he takes the initiative to move forward a lot of the time. So I guess I'll just have to look at the rest of the reading to have a look at. Like I say, it's the Fool that kind of wants to move back. And when I do look at the reading, I almost feel like, because, you know, there is progression here, there is movement. But I am seeing that you're dealing with a lot of, like, internal conflict. And I do, you know, I mean, at the centre of the reading, we do have the Five of Wands, which talks to confliction. Can talk to sort of pettiness. Not aggression, but irritation more than anything. Almost feeling quite irritated. And I do feel like this is an internal thing. I feel like you're feeling like this internally. It's like a bit of a battle. And we do have 2 5s within your reading, and because in your hopes and your fears you also have the 5 of Swords as well. But the 5s do speak to change. They talk to change, and I feel like when we're going through lots of change, there is going to be a lot of internal conflict. There's a lot of this going on internally, and with this being a fire card as well, I can imagine there is a lot of like irritation. So I feel like this kind of energy that's just being like dispersed in many different directions, which is causing a confliction. But with the 5 of Swords being in your hopes and your fears, I feel like maybe you've kind of gone into battle with something. You kind of set out on a battle and you're kind of hoping to be victorious with it. And I feel like, the fear could be that, you're not wanting to sort of risk losing anything or anyone because of it. And the hope could be is that, you do stand tall with the 5 Swords. You do stand tall, and that it is a changing situation. So what's crossing it, what's challenging it is the 7 of Wands. So the 7 of Wands talks to someone standing their own ground, staying true for what they believe in. And this is crossing it, so this is a challenge at the minute. So I suppose for some of you, you're probably finding it quite difficult to stay true to yourself, because obviously with the Fool card, looking back in the past, and the Fool isn't someone who never tends to look back. So I don't want to feel like there's some kind of, I'm getting a sense of regret in some way, but with your overall energy being the 10 of Cups, I can't really see that because, this is like the happy home card, so there is definitely a lot of confliction going on here. I feel like that with this being your overall energy, this is a positive thing. This is a positive thing. There's a positive move, and just trying to understand why the Fool is looking backwards. So it could be that your way of thinking, even though I don't really have many Swords cards within the deck, and the Moon did come out as an external message as well, so maybe things starting to come to light a little bit. So you might be finding it a bit of a challenge to kind of stay true to what you believe in, trying to sort of fend off all these ones. There might not be a lot of people who tend to agree with what it is that you're doing, and you're probably finding it a bit of a challenge kind of fending everyone off, trying to sort of like take the high ground with the person that's kind of standing strong and true. And that might be posing as a bit of a challenge for you, which might be why the 5 of Wands is. So this could be several people that you're dealing with that might be causing this confliction. Because this could be, it can relate to competition as well, which is what the 7 of Wands could be. This could be someone who's kind of like fending off all of these people, and someone could be competing for something. And you're finding it a bit of a battle, you're finding it a bit of a challenge, okay? To be able to keep doing this, to say, no, this is what I want to do, this is what I know is right, this is the way I feel like it should be, and you're finding it a bit of a challenge trying to sort of like maybe bring other people around to this way of thinking, which is kind of causing a little bit of petty arguments, heated discussions, things like that. But again, just bearing in mind that the 5s do speak to change, so this is bound to happen when we're going through some kind of change, okay? There is going to be a 5 of Wands situation, a 5 of Swords situation, which is just, petty arguments, petty squabbles, energy that's just kind of a little bit all over, unable to sort of contain. Now, in the crowning position with the 2 of Wands, so this to me is about taking action with a decision. This is someone who has a decision that they need to make, but is taking action with it. So with this being in your crowning position, I feel like this is a process where you're at the minute. I feel like this is probably what the 7 of Wands is kind of relating to, this person is holding a wand in the hand, so it clearly tells me that they've taken one wand and they've moved forward with something. There's not 2 wands with this in that person's hand, there's only one wand, and this could be what the challenge is as well. Maybe you've tended to go off in one direction and the other 7 wands was, thinking about another direction, and you've chose a different direction. So that could be what this challenge is about, is sort of saying, no, I know what I want to do, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm standing true for, and this could be what the confliction is and what the arguments are about. But do stand true for what you believe in. This is what the 7 of Wands said to say, because in your upcoming future you do have the 8 of Wands, which is the progression of the 7. So it tells me that you do progress from the 7, okay? You come out of this situation, okay? You do come out of this situation and you end up with the 8 of Wands. And in the 8 of Wands, no one's holding a wand here. It's almost like everyone has kind of come together. Everyone's come together here. And you do have the 2 of Wands as well here, so it almost feels like a completed thing. So even though the Ten of Wands talks to burdensome or anything like that, we've not got the Ten of Wands in the deck. It just tells me that the other two wands have kind of caught up to the other 8 wands. But the Eight of Wands is about fast movement, fast communication. It does talk to the arrows of love and things like that as well. So this is a beautiful energy. It's a fast moving energy. It talks about action. It talks about getting things done. It's getting things moving, and it's getting things moving fast. Okay, this is fast movement, and that's what's coming up in your near future. So I do feel like you keep standing your ground, no matter how challenging it might be. Okay, just deal with these as you go along. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge. You are going to be faced with some challenging conversations, challenging situations, with things pulling you in different directions. But you keep going in your direction. Okay, you take that wand and you go with the action that you've taken. Because it does lead to some fast-paced movement. Okay, which leads you to a Ten of Cups scenario. So if this is what you're aiming for, you can look at aiming to achieve the Ten of Cups within the month of September. Now in your underlying position, so you do have 2 8s in the reading as well, so you have 2 5s and 2 8s. So the underlying position is the Eight of Cups. This is someone who's moving away. This is someone who is leaving things behind. Again, I see the symbolism here with the Moon card and the Eight of Cups. These are 2 people who've got their backs to the card. Okay, they're looking towards the moon. Both of these cards are looking towards the moon. This is someone who is moving forward, who's not necessarily forgotten about everything that they have, okay, because this is someone who's got all of their 8 cups intact. They've got all their 8 cups intact. They're taking them with them, okay? They're just not concentrating on them. In order to be able to move forward, they have to maybe not necessarily look back like the Fool. The Fool is looking back for whatever reason, but the 8 of Cups is moving forward, and this is what's happening underneath the surface. So I feel like you're kind of collecting all of your cups, all of your emotional energy. And what's beautiful here is you have the 8 of Cups, the 9 of Cups and the 10 of Cups. So it tells me that it's the progression. So, you've got your 8 of Cups here. This is what's happening underneath the surface. This is probably what's hidden as well, what you can't necessarily see. So this is someone who's kind of getting everything in order, who's collecting all of their emotional cups in order to make the necessary move. Okay. So in the, like I say, within the environment, you do have the 9 of Cups as well. So this is beautiful. This is talking about completion. The 10 talks about completion as well. Okay, so you complete an area within your life when it comes to this, some kind of emotional situation within one's life, and you do relate this to the Wish card as well. So this being in your environment, I do feel like things are coming in for you that one may have wanted. In the 9 speak to perfection, so I feel like you're completing something that has been emotional, and it's emotionally fulfilling as well. So if the 9 of Cups is here in your environment to suggest that, I guess you can get whatever it is that you wish for. This cup is filled with all this fruit. Okay, so this is bearing fruit. This is fruits of their labour being flourished. This is being able to pick the fruits of labour, and with the 10 of Cups being the overall energy. Okay, this tells me that it's going to be emotional satisfaction, emotional abundance, contentment. It's just beautiful. So in the position of yourself, we do have the Lovers card. So we did have the Lovers card in the Aries reading for last month as well. So this is playing quite a dominant role within Aries at the minute. So the Lovers card does again talk to decision making as well, because we do have a decision here. But again, I'm not seeing this as a decision because I feel like there's been action taken with this. Okay, action's been taken with this decision. I just feel like maybe there was 2 paths to go, and what's crowning you is that you're going in one direction, but for some reason, you're being pulled in another direction, and the challenge is sort of like you staying true to where it is that you want to go and what it is that you want to do. And I do see that, if you continue down that path, you do have the 9 of Cups, you have the 10 of Cups, and you have the Lovers card here as well in the position of yourself. So this could be what the confliction's about. So the confliction could be that, you have your head and your heart. And the confliction is your heart is saying one thing and your head is saying another, because this can talk to making a decision as well. And a lot of the time the Aries will tend to go with the heart decision. Okay, they'll always follow the heart, and it can be quite challenging to kind of go with a head decision. And we don't have many sword cards within your reading which do talk to communication, apart from the 8 of Wands, which is an Aries communication. Aries communication is just fast energy. Okay, it just moves. It's just action. It's all action. They don't have time to think. So the Lovers card, if it does come down to sort of thinking a lot about things, it's just not in an Aries nature to do that. I mean, they tend to think a lot, but not when it comes to sort of making decisions. when it comes to making decisions, we go with their passions more often than not. I don't feel like it's advising you to make a decision between your head and your heart, because I see that's already been done anyway. That's already been made. So the Lovers can speak to a relationship as well. But with no other card cards being here than you read, I do feel this is very much an internal thing. And this could be what the Fool situation is about. The Fool is in the past. The Fool is in the past. And like I say, the Fool is looking back. So I find it very interesting that the Fool's... I'm going to pull another card on that one. So the Lovers card, it can speak to a strong bond as well, a strong partnership. We do, with the Ten of Cups being here as well, I do see that there is something emotionally satisfying, emotionally content. So if some of you are dealing with a love relationship, I do see that it's heading someplace beautiful. It's heading someplace beautiful, okay? With the Moon card being in here as an external message, I just feel like, just be on guard for things that might come up, okay? Just be a bit on guard, because there could be things that come to light that might cause a little bit of heated discussions, heated debates, challenging conversations, things like that. But they're only minor. They're only minor ones. Okay, this might not even really necessarily be anything to do with you. Okay, the Moon card. It might not necessarily be anything to do with you because it's come out external. It could be something to do with external to you. Okay. We just talk to things being revealed. This could just be like, I don't really know. I might pull another card out on that as well. So, is your outcome card with the Empress card. Okay, so this is beautiful. You have the Ten of Cups, you have the Nine of Cups, you have the Empress card. Despite all the other kind of cards that you do have within the reading, I just feel like if you're aiming for something, that's going to be satisfying and abundant. The Empress card, it couldn't be a much better card really to have as an outcome, because it just tells me that, you make it. You do make it. You just need to keep staying true to what you truly believe in and what you, in the direction that you want to go, okay? Don't let inner conflict, maybe even external as well, this could be very external. It could be external conflicts going on, because this is in your hopes and your fears. It could be that, you don't want to cause any tension. You don't want to cause any tension, and the fear could be that people are trying to just cause tension with you, and you just kind of just want to be left alone. You're just like, I'm tired of battling this out. I'm just tired of it. And that could be what the Seven of Wands is. It's just, no matter what you do, I'm not going to change my mind. It's like, this is who I am. This is who I am. And this could be what the Five of Wands is about, whether this be internally, or this could be external to you. But again, just once you do get past this energy, we come into the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands just talks about, it's all go. It's just all go. So you do progress, you got the Seven here, and you do progress to the Eight, so things move forward. So with the Empress card being in your outcome, this is talking about birthing of new ideas, birthing of projects, starting something new. This is a fertile card as well, so this could be talking about pregnancy, this could be talking about children as well, as your outcome card. And with the Ten of Cups and the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Cups being here, it all links in. It's just a happy home. It's just really happy. So let me pull one on the Fool and one on the Moon. Yeah, you can't really see what the Fool's looking back at. Because if it was in any other position within the deck, we might have a bit more clarity as to what is it looking back to, because if the Fool is in the recent past, okay, again, I guess it doesn't really matter which way he is looking, because to me it's just the position of the card, and the position that he's in at the minute is just simply that he's in the past. And that what's got to the situation where we are now is, what's put you in this position is the Fool. So the Fool's put you in the position of the Five of Wands scenario. So I feel like it's been some kind of, I won't say foolish, but just kind of something new, an idea maybe, just a spark of a new idea that's it's put you in this position of where you are at the minute has been decision that the Fool has made, but the Fool is looking back. This is why I feel like it might have not have been the Fool. It's really strange, because the Fool talks about new beginnings, talks about setting off on new adventures, new journeys, and things like that. But for some reason, it just seems a little bit strange. That's the sense I'm getting with it. Okay. Alright. Okay, so the Fool, is the Emperor card, okay? So I feel like this is you, Aries. I feel like this is you. And this could be looking back to a person that you used to be, okay? When I look at the Fool, and this has come out with the Fool, okay? So I feel like you've taken initiative. You've been the Fool, okay? You've taken action. Just what the Fool does, okay? The Fool takes action with things. Doesn't tend to care too much. You know, he's a completely fearless person. He's completely fearless and just takes action with something. But when I compare it with the Emperor, I feel like this is kind of what he's looking back at. So the Emperor card is an Aries card, and it does talk about, you know, he's a very dominant character, very much in control a lot of the time. You know, he's a leader in what he does, and the Emperor, you know, he's the Emperor. You know, he trumps the king, and when you get the Emperor, it's almost like, you know, he's the one that is kind of the one that is like the Lord, the Overlord, that kind of looks over a lot of things. So I feel like, you know, if this is what the Fool is looking back at, I feel like this is maybe something that you're leaving behind. So this might be a part of yourself that you're leaving behind. Maybe you're going to become a little bit less domineering if you have been. You'd be, you know, releasing a little bit of control as well. You know, they are powerful characters as well, so that could be something to do with that. Maybe you're kind of releasing a bit of that as well. I just feel like maybe you're kind of moving from this position where you are. If you have been a bit of the status of the Emperor, you might be moving from a position of that, which would talk a lot about why this confliction is happening, because if there's something that this is how you've been for quite some time, it's quite hard to adapt to another situation a lot of the time, especially if you're moving away from the Emperor. If you're moving away from the Emperor, it's and like I say, not a lot of people might be agreeing with that. Not a lot of people might be wanting you to do that. But again, you need to stand true for what it is that you want to, that you believe in and what you want to do. Because I feel like, you know, when I do look at the Emperor and I look at all your other cards, you got the Happy Home card here, you got the Ten of Cups card. The Emperor to me doesn't always look that happy. Okay, he's not always that happy. Okay, he has a job to do, and that's a lot. That's basically it, really. It's just, I just feel like this is a person who's constantly working, doesn't have that much emotional fulfillment within one's life, and he has to sort of stay strong a lot of the time as well. You do see there, he stood up there on his own. You know, he's surrounded by pillars and things. You know, he does look quite. You know, he does look like he's in control and stuff. And it's not always a contented place. It's not always a contented place, you know. And I feel like sometimes, you know, you want to get to the Empress. You do have the Emperor and the Empress card here, okay? So this is beautiful energy. You do complement each other very well. So I feel like if what you're leaving behind is the Emperor and you're coming into the Empress, okay, which is a complete opposite. I mean, you look at the difference within these cards. You know, the red, you know, it can talk a lot about, you know, when you see red, you know, you think a lot of anger and stuff. And, you know, this could be a very angry person on a level, you know, and they want to be more nurturing, a bit more settled within themselves, okay? Because when I look at these two characters, you know, you got this person who's surrounded by all this beauty and all this life and energy, and you've got this person who's surrounded by just things that are empty, okay? It just looks very empty, but this is full of life. So I feel like, you know, this is what you're leaving behind and this is what you're moving to, which is great. So in order to do that, it is going to be, you know, challenging. Because when you think you're coming from a male energy and coming into a feminine energy, so it must be really, will be really challenging. It will be challenging. But it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful process. So the Moon card, when you've got the Four of Cups that's come out over the Moon, so we've got the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups can talk to sort of, I don't see boredom with this card. I know they always say it's like boredom, but I don't see boredom with this card. What I see with this card is, you know, the fours tend to speak to foundation. Okay, the fours speak to foundation. And, but this is someone who's kind of like, again, they're not looking at the cups for whatever reason. So they have 3 cups available to them, but they're focused on this 1 cup. And this is the Ace of Cups, okay? This is a person who's focused on the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is the start of something new, okay? It's the Emperor. It's the minor arcana of the Emperor, so I always say. So, so it's not the minor arcana. So you've got the Ace of Cups, and this is a person that's looking at the Ace of Cups, which is a new beginning, a new fresh start. You know, again, it can relate to pregnancy and things like that as well. So, and this is what a person's thinking about. With it coming over the Moon card, I don't necessarily see that this is something that's being revealed, because, again, you know, it could relate to a fear thing, because if at one point you have been quite a fearless character, you've usually been quite fearless, and you usually just tended to go after whatever it is that you want, without a thought, usually, you know, because that's what the Fool and the Emperor do, okay. When I look at the Moon card, they're coming out external, you know, again, it can be quite, it's also an illusionary card, okay. It does speak to illusions, and the Four of Cups could very well speak to an illusion as well, because he's just sat there thinking about it and dreaming about it, which is it's on a different scale to the Fool. But again, if you are coming into a completely new process and a new phase within your life, a new way of doing things, a new way of thinking, a new way of feeling, this could be very much how you're being, you know, this is just a different way of looking at things, and I do feel like this is what's happening here. It's just looking at things a bit differently, I suppose, rather than looking at all the things that they kind of collected or whatever else. I can't really say, it's just, let's say, looking at what it is that they haven't got, but you have a goal in mind, but it's just not come to light yet, maybe, what this is, okay, it's just not come to light what this is yet. Let's pull another card out, a bit more clarity on that one. It's a tricky one, this Moon, because I don't quite know. Okay, so the Chariot's come out with that, and the Chariot card, you know, to talk about movement forward and taking control of the reins and directing your chariot as to wherever it is that you want to go. But this is a person who's got their back to the Moon in this card. Okay, so this is the person who's facing the Moon, the person who's got their back to the Moon. So again, this could be, the Moon could be, again, maybe this person turns around, because you do have 2 cards here where they're looking at the Moon. And this is a person who's looking away from the Moon. They're looking away from the Moon and going in a different direction. So maybe the illusion clears, okay? And I do sense that it is something to do with illusions as well, because, you know, things might start becoming a little bit clearer in the month of September. And it might steer you in a direction that's coming away from the Moon. You might start going in a different direction. So, let's see. 2 8s, 2 5s. There's the 2 of Wands and there's a Lover's card, which is 2 2s. But I do see progression. There's definitely progression, okay? Whatever action's been taken, there's progression with it. There's progression, there's movement forward. This is a thing of the past. Okay, this is a thing of the past, and it's going to be a hard thing to get used to. It's going to be a bit challenging, okay, but you're moving forward nonetheless. And you're standing true for what you truly believe in, okay. This is you being on guard. You're being on guard, and you're fending off. You're fending off all these ones that are trying to come in and attack you, okay. And this is what this is here. This is what the 5 of Wands are here. Okay, these are just people that are just going to come in and try and attack you from different angles. But everything else that kind of comes with it is beautiful. The Ten of Cups is your overall energy. See, it makes me, and underneath that we just have the Ten of Coins as well, which is amazing. It's very like, this could be what the confliction is, because the confliction is, you've got the Ten of Cups, you've got the Nine of Cups, you've got the Empress card. You know, you've got these beautiful cup energies, like the best cup energies within the deck. And then you've got all this fire energy. It's definitely about what, it's a water and a fire mix. It's a fire and water mix. And maybe you're going to be less fire and a bit more water, as the Aries are usually quite fiery. But don't try and lose it too much, I guess. It's always nice to have a bit of balance. But yeah, when you look at the Emperor and the Fool card, are very, very fiery characters. You know, they're just very impulsive by nature. Very impulsive. And that's, I do feel that's what it is. I feel like you're coming out of a bit more, being less fiery self and becoming a bit more watery self, a bit more sensitive, a bit more emotional, a bit more grounded within that area, because the Fools do speak to your foundation. So this is you know, talking about your emotional foundation. Emotional foundation. But yeah, it's great. Nine of Cups in your environment. You get what you wish for. Okay. Whatever that might be. The Empress card is your outcome. Start of something new. New beginnings. You know, birthing of projects, creativity. Okay. This does talk about the creation. Okay, the Empress is a creation. She creates. That's what the Empress does. The Empress creates. And you have that as your outcome card. Okay, so to finish off, you know, with these two tens, completions of things, completions of cycles. It does talk to abundance and success as well. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, Aries. So I hope you found this insightful and interesting. Please leave me comments and feedback. And I'd very much be interested in what it is that you have to say. Bye.